Hi everyone, welcome back to English for You. I'm Pat.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're looking at the second part of our article about stunt actors. So stunt actors are people who perform the dangerous scenes in movies. And they take the place of the stars, the people who do all the dialogue acting, and they just do the hard stuff, the car chases, the falls, the fights, the getting set on fire, and all the rest.
Absolutely. Now they're trained to do this. Often they go to schools, they learn from professional stunt people who have a lot of experience, maybe are retired. But even with that, you also need discipline and you need a bit of luck. You have to meet the right people at the right time because lots of people would love to be doing stunts in Hollywood movies, but there just aren't that many jobs, so luck is also important.
Right, and you also need some special equipment to make sure there are as few injuries as possible. It's all about kind of keeping things safe, putting the safety of the performer and the people around him first. But where you live could play a part.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not living in a place where there are a lot of movies being made, then the chances of getting into movies will be much less. So you need to go to where the movies are being made. Hollywood, Bollywood, Nollywood, Vancouver, Toronto, Canada. Places where they film a lot of things. London, England
London
too.
would be
Get in a James Bond movie, for example.
And when you're doing all this, it's important to have good manners and be patient and be helpful, because setting up stunts is hard work. So you've got to kind of really be on your best behavior so no one's focusing on you, they're focusing on putting safety first and doing things in the safest possible way. All right, let's read through day 2 of our article and find out more about stunt performing.
Reading.
The Stunt Performer, a life more exciting than the movies. If you do get a stunt job on a movie set, be prepared for danger. You'll need to fall off buildings, engage in violent fights, drive cars off bridges, and be set on fire. Stunt actors will never be asked to do something dangerous without careful preparation, but accidents do sometimes happen. Famous stunt actor Hal Needham came close to death several times while doing driving stunts in the 1970s. One bad car crash cost him a broken back, cracked ribs, and a punctured lung. If you've ever seen a James Bond movie or The Walking Dead, stunt actors have actually died while making those. But these types of tragedies are rare, and most stunt performers find the job rewarding. Many of them become famous actors such as Jackie Chan, Burt Reynolds, and Chuck Norris. Hal Needham himself became a movie director. Sometimes it goes the other way around. Tom Cruise is one actor who insists on doing all of his stunts. He's crashed his motorcycle into speeding cars and dangled from a jet plane while it was taking off. A career in stunt performing can be exciting and full of surprises. But be sure of what you're getting into before you fly into the face of danger.
All right, so let's begin today's article. The first sentence is kind of giving us an idea of what it might be like to actually work as a stunt performer. It says, if you do get a stunt job on a movie set, be prepared for danger. Yeah, we hope this is not news to anyone. We hope you realize that stunt performing does involve danger, but even after all the training, even after all the practice, there is still risk. You are still doing dangerous stuff.
Yep, and some examples in our next sentence. You'll need to fall off buildings, engage in violent fights, drive cars off bridges, and be set on fire.
Ooh, hot.
What a selection. Maybe all at once. Now, we saw a phrasal verb there, engage in. If you engage in something, you're taking part in a particular activity. You could be a company and engage in business, for example.
Absolutely.
You might engage in dialogue with a person and have a chat with them. Here we're talking about engaging in violent fights. So getting involved with, getting into violent, or at least in this case, stunt fights.
That's right. But we're not talking about crazy risks. We're not talking about those people you see riding their bicycle off the roof of their house on YouTube and hurting themselves badly, even though it is funny. No, this is not funny. This is serious business. So when next we read, stunt actors will never be asked to do something dangerous without careful preparation. But Accidents do sometimes happen. These are professionals. No one wants to get hurt. They take the time and the care and the equipment to do the job safely. But as we've mentioned, driving cars fast, lighting yourself on fire, even with the right clothing, it is still a dangerous thing to do.
So in that sentence, we saw today's grammar point, which is using a negative such as no, not, or never, and then another clause beginning with without. Now we're saying something doesn't happen, never happens, or is not quite right unless a certain condition is fulfilled. And that condition is introduced with the word without. For example, you can't travel to another country without a passport. So here the thing that can't happen is the travel, and the condition you need to fulfill is having a passport. Here's another one. It doesn't feel like a proper Christmas Day meal without my family. I need my family to make it complete. And here's another one. I never go past this park without remembering my old girlfriend, as we often used to take walks here. So it has to happen. I need to think of her when I walk past this park. And here we're saying these stunt people never do these dangerous things without preparation.
Exactly. In other words, they don't just jump into it without planning it out and getting ready, because that's what preparation is. It's getting ready for something. It could be something really small, like your preparation before you go to school in the morning. Could be, putting your books in your bag, making sure you have some money in your phone, that kind of thing. You're just getting ready to leave the house for the day. Or it could be a bigger type of preparation, something that might take weeks, months, or even years. For example, our sentence says you shouldn't try to climb that mountain without doing a lot of preparation first. Yeah, if it's Mount Everest or something really big, you'll need equipment and training and practice and maybe some people to coach you and teach you stuff. You can't just say, I'm going to climb Mount Everest tomorrow. No, that's a good way to get in big trouble and perhaps have an accident.
Right, we said that even with the preparation, accidents could happen.
That's life.
An accident is something bad that happens without anybody meaning to make it happen.
Yep.
No one did this thing on purpose. No one set out to cause some kind of harm or damage or a problem. It was an accident. It's just kind of bad luck and circumstances crashing together. For example, Ralph had a motorcycle accident and is on his way to the hospital. So we often use it to talk about traffic things. Two cars hit each other, that's an accident. In stunt performances, somebody might fall off something, a rope breaks, there's a slip. That's an accident. No one's trying to hurt the stunt guy. It just does.
That's right. But you want to avoid those because, of course, when you're doing stunts, an accident could lead to something really bad, someone getting hurt or even killed. And it does happen, as we read next. Famous stunt actor Hal Needham came close to death several times, not just once, but several times, while doing driving stunts in the 1970s. He was probably in Smokey and the Bandit and great car chase movies from the 70s. The car might have flipped over, gone in a lake. He couldn't open the door. The car caught on fire. He almost died from the smoke. We know that these things happened. We know that they were very dangerous, and we also know that he could have died because we use this verb, this phrasal verb, come close to. That basically means something almost happened. He almost died. He was almost killed in these accidents. He came close to death.
Yeah,
but he didn't die.
Pretty close, as we see in the next sentence. One bad car crash cost him a broken back, cracked ribs, and a punctured lung. Oh, that's a lot of bad stuff.
That is bad.
Let's find out some of these details. So one of these things Hal Needham suffered was cracked ribs. So crack is a verb and it means to break, to kind of make something snap in half, or to put a crack, an actual crack, if we use the word as a noun, in it. We can also say cracked and use it as an adjective, which means this thing has been cracked, it has been broken, maybe not the full way, maybe it's just got one of those jagged lines, it's got a crack in it. Okay, cracked ribs would mean the rib bone has got cracked in it, or it's broken a bit, or something like that. And here's another example. Oh no, there is a crack in the screen of my smartphone. So we're talking about cracked ribs.
Yeah, that's not a very comfortable thing to happen, but I guess you can break more important bones in your body. Yep. Your ribs is basically that cage that you might see on a skeleton when they show you, the inside of the body in science class. It's kind of that cage that makes up the upper part of our body, our chest area, and the ribs, of course, protect all the important things behind them, the heart, the lungs, stuff like that. Those are protected by the ribs, so it's sort of like the cage or the armor around our body. But if you fall down, if you get hit in the side or kicked or fall off your bike in the wrong way, yeah, you can break those ribs. I don't think people really die from that, but it's very painful. Yeah. Breathing would be painful, lying down, moving, stretching, all of the things that you do, it would hurt. So don't crack your ribs, please.
Yeah, and a broken rib, if it's in the wrong place, could puncture a lung. The word puncture, this is when a hole is made in a container that has air or liquid inside, and that hole lets out the air or liquid. So think of the tires on a bike. You puncture that, all the air comes out, you can't ride it. A punctured lung is when we get a hole in our lungs, and this is pretty dangerous because the blood's getting into the lungs, you can't breathe, you can't get the oxygen into your body. It's super dangerous, and of course, broken ribs could puncture a lung.
Again, try to avoid this type of thing.
Okay.
And if you're a stunt person, though, it is probably part of the job, breaking a few bones now and then. And hopefully that's the worst that happens, because in the history of movies, worse things have actually happened. As we read on, if you've ever seen a James Bond movie or The Walking Dead, the zombie TV show, if you've ever seen a James Bond movie or The Walking Dead, stunt actors have actually died while making those.
Yep,
people
and
do die.
Plenty of others as well.
I think in the James Bond movie, someone drove a car off a cliff or into a side of
there's been all
mountain,
sorts, I guess.
Just in the last 30
odd movies. So
but I mean, just in the last one.
Right, yes. Okay, the article then carries on and says, but these types of tragedies are rare, and most stunt performers find the job rewarding. So we describe these things as tragedies. A tragedy, I always get the D and the G the wrong way around. It's tragedy.
Well, that's a tragedy.
That is a tragedy. Well, it's something that's terrible, it's a very sad thing, and it makes a lot of people feel upset when they hear about it. Yeah. Often a death or a bad injury, especially to someone who seems young and healthy.
Exactly. Natural disasters, or even someone dying, before their time or something. Oh, it's so sad. It's such a terrible, sad story. A tragedy. We also had this word rewarding. Something that is rewarding is something that gives you a lot of satisfaction. It makes you feel happy, it makes you feel pleased, especially when you've kind of worked hard towards it, and then you reach that goal, you study really hard, and you do the test, and then you get a really great mark on it. You look back at all that time studying, all that library work you did, and you feel good about yourself. You're like, hey, I worked hard, but you know what? It paid off in the end. I got the results I worked so hard for. And that feeling of good for me, that's the feeling of having something rewarding happen to you.
So stunt actors can even go on and not just be stunt guys anymore. We see many of them, that's stunt performers, become famous actors, such as Jackie Chan, mentioned him in our intro, Burt Reynolds, Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't know he was a stunt person. He was a big movie star, though.
And Chuck Norris,
of course,
who's done a lot. Jackie Chan, famously, of course, one of his early movies, was getting hit in the face by Bruce Lee and his nunchucks.
Yes, he was, and getting his chest hair ripped out.
Yep, and becoming famous. And that's not all you could become if you're a stunt performer.
Remember Hal Needham, that guy who almost died in a car crash? Well, of course, he was a famous, well-known, and successful stuntman, but we also learn Hal Needham himself became a movie director.
Okay.
I imagine he was directing action movies.
Yeah, he probably knows what to do.
Yeah.
And as the article says, sometimes it goes the other way around. We see Tom Cruise is one actor who insists on doing all of his stunts. So he's like, it's dangerous, I'm going to do it myself. Now here we use this idiom the other way around, and this describes a situation that is the opposite of what we've already mentioned or what we might expect. So stunt performers become actors, but this is the other way around. Actors become stunt performers.
And we also saw in that last sentence the verb insist. To insist on something is to say something, to really mean it, to really want it, and to kind of say, I'm not going to accept no. You must do this. This is so important that I won't accept you saying, I don't want to, or no. No, it's kind of like an order, basically, but I don't have the power to order you, but I'm basically kind of saying, hey, if you don't want to have a problem, you really need to do this. For example, I insist that you stop pushing me, or I am going to call the police. I can't actually stop you from doing it, but if you do keep doing it, if you do keep pushing me, the police will come and there will be more serious trouble. So when you really feel strongly about something, when you're not going to take no for an answer, then you should insist on that thing.
Okay, and what has our boy Tom Cruise insisted on doing?
Lots of things.
Well, we see that he's crashed his motorcycle into speeding cars and dangled from a jet plane while it was taking off.
I remember that Mission Impossible movie, yeah.
So there we use the word speed as a verb. It's a speeding car. If something is speeding, it's going really fast. You could say, don't speed in this area, you'll get a ticket. So if you're going too fast, we talk about a speeding car, a car going very fast. And here's another example. The airplane sped down the runway just before takeoff. It went really fast. And sped, S-P-E-D, that's the PP in past tense of speed as a verb.
That's right. And we also had the verb to dangle, talking about Tom Cruise dangling from a plane as it takes off. If you've seen the movie, you know he's hanging on to the plane. And that's basically what to dangle is. It's to kind of hang from a higher place, but in a way that makes it almost likely that you're going to fall, all right? You're not holding on strongly with many hands, many arms, and lots of rope. You might be holding on just by one hand, and there's a good chance that you could let go and fall. Or you're being attached at a very small, narrow point. We might talk about earrings dangling from someone's ears. These aren't the kind that go in your ear, go through your ear, and sit on your ear. They hang down from your ear. Or maybe you go to the zoo and you see a monkey holding on to a tree branch just with one hand as it plays and chases. It's dangling from that branch. It's hanging on, but just by one small point, and it could fall.
Yeah, and Tom Cruise was hanging on to a jet plane as it took off. So a jet plane is a plane powered by a jet engine using jet fuel. So this is an extremely fast, powerful plane. Okay, here's an example sentence. The first jets were used during World War II. They would go off and they would fight each other over the skies and that kind of thing.
Yeah, most of the planes you would take today over a long distance would be a jet plane.
Right, I've taken one of those once. I've taken we call it a prop plane. It's a propeller that goes round. I've only done that once. It was a different experience.
It is a little exciting, a little bouncy, and quite noisy. You'll definitely know if it's a jet or not when you're in the plane. And we also had that phrasal verb to take off. When a plane leaves the land and goes up into the air, that whole procedure, that whole part of the flight is the takeoff, or the plane takes off. It goes down that straight long runway, gets faster and faster, and pretty soon it lifts into the air. It takes off. That's the beginning of your trip. And we say the plane lands. That's the end of your trip, when the plane comes back to the ground.
Okay, now it is time to conclude today's article. It says, a career in stunt performing can be exciting and full of surprises. Remember that word career yesterday? It's kind of your whole working life and all the different things you'll do, the promotions, the maybe having a bit of a hard time, and then finally getting to the place where you want to be.
There you go. But it says as a last bit of advice, but be sure of what you're getting into before you fly into the face of danger. Yeah, be sure you understand everything that would be required from a person who is in a career of a stunt performer. You don't want to get into it and go, wait a minute, this is dangerous. No one told me about this stuff. Find out a lot more and do a lot of training, and with a bit of luck, maybe we'll see you up there fighting Tom Cruise in 20 or 30 years.
Sure.
He'll still be making movies.
Absolutely, and you'll be taller than him. True. Okay, that is the end of today's article about stunt people, but we're not quite done yet. Let's go to today's For You Chat question.
For You Chat.
So today's question is,
yes.
if you were in the movies, what type of stunts or what types of stunts do you think you could do, and which ones would scare you too much?
That's a good question. Well, I've always admired the stunt driving in movies. I think it would be fun to take a stunt driving course and learn how to handle a car as it slides around corners and stuff like that. Drive fast but safely. So that might be cool. Getting lit on fire, or no, for me, falling from tall buildings. I don't really like heights, so maybe I would like falling from tall buildings because I'll get down fast, but standing up on the edge, that part at the beginning, I wouldn't like that too much.
That's no fun at all. Yeah. I reckon I could do a few of the things maybe in a related to fight scenes. I've had, that special glass they use in Hollywood.
Oh, sure, breakable glass.
Yeah, I've had people hit me with that in a play, so I know I can do that. I did some martial arts when I was at university, so I've got an idea about how to fall on my back or on my front or even on my side and not get hurt too badly. So I could try a few things like that. I think that's where I'd start. Bit of the rough stuff.
All right, so you'll be in the next Jackie Chan, I'll be in the next Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
And
we'll see you out
Hollywood,
there.
Here we come.
Exactly. Okay, that is all we've got time for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. For English for You, I'm Pat.
And I'm Mike.
Talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.
Be safe.
The Stunt Performer, a life more exciting than the movies. If you do get a stunt job on a movie set, be prepared for danger. You'll need to fall off buildings, engage in violent fights, drive cars off bridges, and be set on fire. Stunt actors will never be asked to do something dangerous without careful preparation, but accidents do sometimes happen. Famous stunt actor Hal Needham came close to death several times while doing driving stunts in the 1970s. One bad car crash caused him a broken back, cracked ribs, and a punctured lung. If you've ever seen a James Bond movie or The Walking Dead, stunt actors have actually died while making those. But these types of tragedies are rare, and most stunt performers find the job rewarding. Many of them become famous actors such as Jackie Chan, Burt Reynolds, and Chuck Norris. Hal Needham himself became a movie director. Sometimes it goes the other way around. Tom Cruise is one actor who insists on doing all of his stunts. He's crashed his motorcycle into speeding cars and dangled from a jet plane while it was taking off. A career in stunt performing can be exciting and full of surprises. But be sure of what you're getting into before you fly into the face of danger.
Vocabulary Review.
Preparation. A lot of work has gone into the preparation of next week's huge sporting event. Accident. I had an accident at home and cut my feet on some broken glass. Crack. The tennis ball didn't break the window, but it cracked some of the glass. Insist. I told Dennis I didn't need any help cooking dinner, but he insisted and made a salad. Speed. We got on our bicycles and sped down the hill as fast as we could. Jet. Jet plane. Going to the U.S. gave me a chance to fly on a jet for the first time in my life.
字汇小补帖
Rib. Puncture. Tragedy. Rewarding. Dangle.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000。 或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net